I really hate how I made the decision to put the opposing team's stadium background as my background for 5 Keys to Victory video, but I can't hate it too much because Dallas' stadium is really nice and I want to go there one day. Welcome to Talking Giants. My name is Justin Penik. And guess what? It's Saturday. 5 Keys to Victory video. It's happening. The Giants won last week in New Orleans, so we don't have to change the theme of this series and make it 5 Keys to Survival. We're still talking about how we can win. We're still doing it. Still early in October. Let's go out and let's do it tomorrow. 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Giants at Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. AT&T Stadium. I think it's going to be pretty cool that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are calling the game because it's been a long time since I feel like the Giants have had a game which they've called, and it's somewhat relevant. I know they're getting it because the Cowboys are really good and it's America's game of the week, but pretty much every single game growing up, it was Buck and Aikman, Buck and Aikman, Buck and Aikman. So even if you don't enjoy them, I think it's going to be pretty cool to get some familiar faces in there that are somewhat big in this NFL community. It's nice to see. So 5 Keys to Victory. Key to victory number 1 is don't let your foot off the gas pedal with explosive plays. Dallas does play man coverage a lot. So the way that you can beat man coverage is play action and running crossing routes, which the Giants have done in some of their explosive plays as of late. No, not curls, but play action with crossing routes over the middle of the field. That's how you can beat man coverage. And before week 4, the Giants offense was 22nd in the National Football League in explosive play rate. After week 4's performance against the Saints, they were 14th. They are 14th in the National Football League in explosive play rate. They are an above average offense when it comes to explosive plays, and that's something for me to celebrate. But against the Washington Football Club, you had a good game. Atlanta, you let your foot off the gas against a unit in which you should have taken advantage of their being a bad defensive unit, and they didn't. You cannot take your foot off the gas against Dallas. And Jason Garrett always likes to, bring up some elaborate play calls against Dallas because maybe he feels like it's a gumption game. I think the evidence is kind of clearly there a little bit. So hopefully he feels that way again and the Giants can have a pretty solid day. Key to victory number 2 is do whatever superstitious voodoo thing you need to do to ensure that Andrew Thomas plays on Sunday and he is somewhat healthy. My contribution is I am putting on the screen right now embarrassing pictures and videos of myself, dancing, bad haircuts, etc., etc. So that's my contribution. What are you going to do? You have to do something. Whether it's this Saturday night, stuffing yourself uncomfortably with food and pizza, alcohol, not to a dangerously life-threatening level, but whatever contribution you need to make that Andrew Thomas plays, voodoo superstitious thing, or sacrifice, you have to do that. Key to victory number 3. Create yards after the catch on the offense side of the ball. Limit yards after the catch on the defense side of the ball. The Cowboys offense right now is ranked 10th in the National Football League in yards after the catch on the offense side of the ball. The Giants as a defense are about middle of the pack. But my eye test has said that it's been a worse problem than maybe the stats indicate. And that's my eye test. So how do you like me? Incorporating my eye test and how I feel into things rather than just numbers. I feel like the Giants have been getting beat at with yards after the catch and bad tackling all year. You can't have it. These skill position players for the Cowboys are way too good. And this even includes their 2 running backs in the backfield. They got some good tight ends too that have been contributing. You got to tackle in the middle of the field. You got to get these guys down. Because they can certainly carve you up because Dallas hasn't been necessarily throwing the ball deep down the field, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But create yards after the catch on the offense side of the ball. Dallas Cowboy defense is second in the NFL in terms of allowing the second most yards after the catch on the defense side of the ball. Now, the Giants are ranked 22nd in the National Football League right now in creating yards after the catch. But this past Sunday against the Saints, it was the first time that any wide receiver had more than 6.3 yards after the catch per reception. Both Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay had 8 yards after the catch per reception, and it was the first time under the Jason Garrett era which more than one wide receiver, so a pair of wide receivers, had more than 5 yards after the catch per reception in a single game. So that needs to happen again. Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton are out, which I'm not going to say it will never be a blessing in disguise to lose those 2 guys, but that gives the excuse that Kadarius Toney is going to be on the field. Like, Kadarius Toney, you are going to be on the field. John Ross, he's going to be on the field. And I certainly would rather have Shepard and Slayton than maybe John Ross, but definitely Kadarius Toney needs to be out there. So it is going to be a majority of Galladay, Toney, and I'm still confident in that. I'm still relatively confident in that. Key to victory number 4. The areas in which the Cowboys offense is best at is the areas in which the Giants defense is worst in. This is not necessarily a key, but it's just something to recognize that Dallas, they haven't been an air-it-out offense. They've been a good offense, a solid offense, but actually the Giants' passing offense is a more explosive unit than the Cowboys' passing offense. Cowboys' passing offense is ranked 18th in the National Football League right now in explosive play rate, their passing offense, and the Giants' passing offense is ranked 14th in the National Football League in explosive play rate. So, they're around the same, but Dak has been really kind of not dinking and dunking, but he's been living in the intermediate part of the field. Because you have such good route runners, these guys can create separation, they can get open, and that's where Dak has kind of been living and breathing, is in the intermediate part of the field, maybe a little bit past the sticks, a little bit before the sticks. That's where he's been living and breathing and dying. And that is where the Giants' defense has been weakest, where they're still doing a good job of preventing the deep passing play and the explosive plays, and where they're playing a lot of too high, but that allows the middle of the field to be open. So keep that in mind as you're watching this game. Jabril Peppers is also out. So that's another tough loss for the Giants. Where even though they weren't using him a ton, they were only using him like 60% of the time. They're using a lot of McKinney and Logan Ryan as the two high safeties. That's still a big loss where it's a playmaker that the Giants defense is losing. So, key to victory number 5. This is more or less just more vague and abstract. Don't let last week's win mean nothing. You made your bed going 0-3. You're now going to lie in it. Like, you have no choice but to lay in that bed and to lie in that bed. Going home next week against the Rams, where you're going to be another celebration of, of another moment and another, players in this franchise's history, what you're doing this year. At Eli Manning 2 weeks ago, your fans booed you because you were 0-2 and then losing at halftime. Don't let last week's win be a waste, number 1. And number 2, don't force yourself to rethink about how you're going to celebrate Super Bowl 46 halftime against the Rams next week. Don't force yourself to do that. I know the Giants as players aren't thinking about that, but I would hate to go and celebrate Super Bowl 46, and if John Mara chooses to speak halftime next week when I'm at that game and there's booing, like, that just sucks. That just really, really does suck. Win this Sunday, get another statement win, get back in this NFC East race. I know it's a tough matchup. Dallas looks really, really good. They do look like one of the best teams in the NFC, but you know what? There's no excuses this year. You went out, you spent the money, you should be able to compete with nearly anybody. And even if you don't win this game, just show a respectable effort so next week's celebration and 10-year anniversary of Super Bowl 46 just isn't ruined. Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for everybody else. All right. 5 keys to victory. Go out, do it, win, go Big Blue. We will see you on Monday for the Victory Podcast. See you then.